Hi everyone, welcome to Impact Academy. I'm Yashasvi Chintada. So today let us continue with the economy model paper. Okay. So last class we have seen till 10 questions. Okay. Let us continue from the 11th question. So which of the following is are the major objectives of the Palna scheme? Okay. So Palna scheme is the one of the what is say around 2017 that period. Okay. It's a scheme. So it's saying to provide daycare facilities for children. Okay, 6 months to 6 years of working mothers to promote institutional deliveries and to monitor compliance of the Maternity Benefit Act of 2017 for setting up creche facilities. Okay, so creche means basically for small kids. Okay, not I mean toddlers and not like play school or anything. Just they will feed the babies, etc., and take care till the mother is working. Okay, so as per Maternity Benefit Act, so every organization which has up to a certain number of people must also provide for a crash facility. Okay, so let us see the answer. The Union Women and Child Development Ministry plans to set up 17,000 crashes within Anganwadi centers across India under the Palna scheme. Okay, so under the Anganwadi centers, so they are planning to put up 70,000 crash. The Palna component has been included under Mission Shakti. So Mission Shakti is also very important from women empowerment point of view. It to provide for quality and affordable daycare facilities for the children of working women to encourage women's participation in the workforce. So objectives of the Palna scheme is to provide daycare facilities for children, okay, 6 months to 6 years. So starting from 6 months to up to 6 years until they join LKG or UKG, nursery, etc. Okay, monitoring compliance of the Maternity Benefit Act 2017. Okay, requires every establishment having 50 or more employees. Okay, try to remember 50 or more employees. And this distance is also within a prescribed distance. And to promote nutritional health and cognitive development of children, it does not have an objective to promote institutional deliveries. So basically, what it is trying to do is it is trying to provide this crash facilities, okay, facilities for 6 months to 6 years, and to monitor compliance of the Maternity Benefit Act, all these things. Okay, so it will be 1 and 3 only. It does not promote institutional deliveries. That that's a different scheme. Okay, so which of the following statements best describe the capital conservation buffer? So let us see. Just a minute. So the capital conservation buffer is designed to ensure that banks build up capital buffers during normal times. That is outside periods of stress. Okay, which can be drawn down as losses, or which can be drawn down as losses are incurred during a stress period. So basically, if there is any loss in the future, in order to counter that loss as a buffer, the banks have to keep a capital conservation buffer. Okay. So the requirement is based on simple capital conservation rules designed to avoid breaches of minimum capital requirements. Therefore, in addition to minimum total of 8% mandated as capital adequacy ratio. See, we've already seen this capital adequacy ratio, okay, Basel norms, okay, that is, you have to put a certain amount aside, okay, as a buffer. So that in case of an NPA or any risk asset, this will be act as a buffer, okay. So banks will be required to hold a capital conservation buffer of 2.5% of risk-weighted assets in the form of common equity to withstand future periods of stress. Okay, so 2.5% of it has to be in the form of common equity. Okay, so let us see which of the following statements best describe the capital conservation buffer. It is the additional capital which banks are required to hold to withstand periods of stress. Okay, it is the additional capital. That means apart from this capital adequacy ratio and all these things, additional whatever we have to hold is 2.5%. Okay, So total how much it is becoming 10.5%. Okay, 8% you have to maintain CR capital adequacy ratio, and also on top of that you have to mention 2.5 as capital conservation buffer. Okay, so that would be to withstand period of stress. Additional funds face the fiscal crisis to repay the debt amount. Okay, it's the reserve funds maintained by RBI, no, not the reserve funds. So this is the additional capital which banks themselves are required to hold to withstand periods of stress. So this is the right definition of capital conservation buffer. Okay. So consider the following subsidies: food subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, petroleum subsidy. Along the subsidies in decreasing order of their values. So while reading these socio-economic survey or budget, etc., so we have to look at the order of the values. Okay, you may not remember the exact amount of the subsidy, but you have to keep an idea of how much it is. So if you look at major subsidies by the government, okay, so generally if you observe, this is the food subsidy. Okay, food subsidy is about, how much is this? 2,88,000. Okay, 2,88,000. And also recent in the budget estimates, okay, of 23-24, it is around 1,97,000. So the food subsidy is decreasing, okay, over a period of time. In between it has increased 22-23, but now they are planning to reduce it in this financial year. Okay, fertilizer subsidy, fertilizer subsidy was how much? 1,53,000, which has increased to 1,75,000. Okay, keep that in mind. And see, out of this, urea is highest. Okay, almost 1 lakh in crores. Okay, 1 lakh crores is urea, and currently it is at 1,31. So remember all these prints. Okay, out of the fertilizer subsidy, most of it goes for urea. Petroleum is only 3,422. So compared to these two, this is very small, right? And it has reduced to 2,257. So the food subsidy and petroleum subsidy has been reduced. On the other hand, fertilizer subsidy has slowly increased. Okay, it has increased, reduced, and again increased, reduced. Okay, there is fluctuation, but if you look at a period of time, it has not decreased completely. Okay, but food subsidy and petroleum subsidy are on the decline. That is one thing which you have to note. And so this direct benefit transfer for kerosene has been removed. Okay, after 22, it has been removed. It is not there. So try to remember roughly. Okay, the food subsidy is highest because we have to feed, okay, such a huge population, almost more than 140, 150 crore population. So food subsidy will be very high, and almost the fertilizer subsidy is near high, because in order to feed all these people, you need agriculture to produce so much food. Petroleum is not so much. Okay, there is a huge difference between this. So now let us look at the question. It's saying arrange in following value. So decreasing. So which is the highest? Food subsidy is highest. Okay, food subsidy is highest, followed by fertilizer, and then petroleum. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, A would be the option, right? A would be the option. Okay. So what does dynamic scoring refer to in the evaluation of fiscal policy proposals? Okay. So assessing the impact of policies on multiple economic variables, ignoring the potential long-term effects of fiscal policies, and relying solely on historical data, and avoiding the consideration of inflationary pressures. So let us see. So dynamic scoring involves assessing the impact of fiscal policy proposals on multiple economic variables over time. Okay. So impact of fiscal policy proposals on multiple economic variables over time. That's why it is called dynamic. This approach goes beyond static scoring, which typically focuses on the immediate and direct effects of policy changes on the government revenues and expenditures. Okay, any policy change, for example, if you increase the GST or decrease the GST, okay, that's a policy change, and how it will affect the government revenue and expenditure. That is static scoring. Okay, if it is immediate and direct effects, then it is static scoring. So multiple variables over a period of time is dynamic scoring. In dynamic scoring, analysts consider the broader and long-term effects of fiscal policies. Okay, this approach takes into account dynamic interactions and feedback loops within the economy. Example, a tax cut might stimulate consumer spending, which in turn could boost business investment and economic growth. Okay, it provides a more comprehensive understanding of the potential consequences of fiscal policy changes, etc., etc. So it is not short term; it is long term. So, what is dynamic scoring? It is the assessment of the assessing the impact of policies on multiple economic variables over time. Okay, it's not static, not single, and not in a short period. Okay, dynamic scoring is multiple variables over a period of time. So, consider the following statements regarding the quarterly employment survey. So, it is conducted by NSSO and it covers establishments with 10 or more workers in certain major sectors of the economy. So, let us see quarterly employment survey. Okay, so quarterly employment survey is conducted by the Labor Bureau. Okay, it covers establishments with 10 or more workers in 9 major sectors. Okay, there should be minimum 10. And what are the major sectors? Manufacturing, construction, trade, transport, education, health, accommodation, restaurants, IT, BPOs, and financial services. So all these come under this quarterly employment survey. Okay, and these 9 sectors account for around 83% of the total employment in establishments with 10 or more workers as per the sixth economic census. Okay, so no need to go into that much depth. So it is not conducted by SSSO, NSSO, sorry, National Sample Survey Office does not conduct this. And it covers establishments with 10 or more workers, which is true in certain major sectors, which are 9 we have seen, right? So 10 or more workers, 9 major sectors. This is correct. It is not by NSSO. It is conducted by the Labor Bureau. Okay. So next, let's go to the next question. 16th question. With reference to the Reserve Bank of India minimum reserve system. So what is the minimum reserve system? In India, currencies are issued by the RBI with the backing of reserves comprised of gold and foreign exchange. Okay, so when currencies are issued by the RBI, it is not that RBI prints one bundle of what is a money which is paper and says that that is final. No, it is backed with gold also and foreign exchange currencies. Okay, that is how it. I mean, even when dollar became the major what is a during the recession and after that when the global economy is picking up, dollar became the universally accepted currency, right? So it is not just like that, it does not happen. Okay, when the United States has proposed like when you say it's a dollar, what it means is if anyone comes and gives the dollar, okay, the United States will be in a position to give gold. For example, a bar of gold costs say $1 million example. So if someone comes and gives you 1 million US dollars, then the US government will be able to give you one whatever equivalent of gold. Okay, so that is why it is taken as a standard currency all over the world, not just like that. Okay, because it is backed with gold. Okay, so otherwise everyone says take euro as a universal currency and standard currency, or China might say Japan or Japan might say take yen. Okay, India will say take rupee as the standard currency. No, not like that. So it has to be backed with gold or some tangible assets. So in India also currencies are issued by RBI are backed with gold and foreign exchange. Next. So for the issue of currencies, RBI allows minimum reserve system. Okay, what is the minimum system? The minimum reserve system. Okay, is followed from 1956. Under the minimum reserve system, RBI has to keep a minimum reserve of 200 crore. Okay, comprising of gold coin, gold bullion, and foreign currencies. Out of the total 200 crores, rupees 115 crores should be in the form of gold coins or gold bullion. Okay, so 200 crores should be in the form of gold coins, okay, foreign currency, etc., out of which 115 should be proper gold. This is the minimum reserve system. Because it is in 1956, it is the 200 crores. Okay, so at that time 200 crores is a big amount. So the minimum reserve that RBI has to maintain in the form of gold bullion and foreign currencies. Okay, in the form of gold bullion and foreign currencies, whatever it RBI maintains, that is the minimum reserve system. Okay, it is being followed from 1956, and the amount is 200 crores. Out of 200 crores, 115 has to be gold. So logistics is across different states. Report was released by. Okay, we are talking about logistics. So it's Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So the logistics is across different states. Leads perception survey released by the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, very important. It is released by Commerce and Industry because it's talking about logistics. You may easily get confused and may think of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, etc. But it is Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, Commerce and Industry also involves a lot of logistics, right? So leads focus on assessing the performance of the logistics ecosystem across states and union territories. Leeds was conceived on the lines of the LPI, Logistics Performance Index of the World Bank in 2008. So this World Bank Logistics Performance Index is also frequently seen in questions. Okay, so based on that, we have what is called as Leeds Logistics is across different states perception survey released by the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, try to remember that. This Ministry of Commerce and Industry Leeds report. Next. So investors that provide to startup companies and small businesses that are believed to have long-term growth potential. It generally comes from well-off investors, okay, investment banks and other financial institutions. However, it does not always take just a monetary form. It can be provided in the form of technical or managerial expertise. So that would be, I think, angel or venture capital. Okay. So let us see venture capital. Venture capital is financing that investors provide to startup companies and small businesses that are believed to have long-term growth potential. Okay, venture capital generally comes from well-off investors, investment banks, and any other financial institution. However, it does not always take monetary form, and it can be provided in the form of technical or managerial expertise. So it's the definition of venture capital. Okay, a venture capitalist looks for strong product or service that holds a strong competitive advantage, etc., etc. So, and they are going to invest. So, angel investors. Okay, recently we have seen a question on angel investor also. There is some angel tax, okay, regarding the angel tax, so that companies don't use this route to kind of what you say hide money. Okay, for small businesses or upcoming businesses in emerging industries, capital is generally provided by high net worth individuals. So okay, so when it is with the help of this high net worth individuals, then it is called as angel investors. Okay, but in case of venture capital, it is not just investors; it is also investment banks and any other financial institutions, etc. Okay. Okay. So personal investors are business owners who often rely on family, friends, okay, etc., etc. Peer-to-peer lenders are individuals or groups that offer funding to small business owners. Okay. So fine. So this is a venture capital. Okay, it's a definition of venture capital because it consists of investment banks, okay, other financial institutions, etc. But it is only if it is a individual, high net individual, then it is angel investment. Okay, personal investments is from friends, family, etc. Peer to peer is some small business groups. Okay, so all those are very important. So the term zero trust authentication was recently seen in the news in the context of okay zero trust authentication. Let us see. So, in the recently, Ministry of Home Affairs held a meeting to discuss the provisions of the secure email setup. Okay, the 10,000 emails span across 17 union ministries and departments. In response to rising cyber attacks, Center has established secure email system for 10,000 users across critical ministries and departments using zero trust authentication. Okay, so recently this issue has happened, right? One of the member of parliament has given her login credentials to someone abroad. So maybe because of that, they introduced this zero trust authentication. Okay, 10,000 users across all critical ministries and everything. So they will use this secure emails only, so that information does not pass out. ZTA is a cybersecurity approach intended to address rapidly evolving security risks faced by the IT systems. It's a multi-factor authentication, continuous monitoring, etc. So never trust, always verify. That means once you try to log in, it will ask for OTP perhaps and some random code generated on any authenticating device, etc. So that is ZTA. Okay. So it is about cyber security. ZTA, zero trust authentication, is about cyber security. So consider following indicators. Okay, how many of the above are considered in computation of the Human Development Index? So in Human Development Index, okay, let us see. We have seen already one question on Human Development Index, right? By Mehboob Al Haq, some Pakistani person, Amartya Sen, all those are involved. Okay, the Human Development Index is part of Human Development Report published annually since 1990 by United Nations Development Program. Okay, so this you have to remember. Who gives the Human Development Index is based on the UNDP's Human Development Report. It's a summary measure of average achievement in key dimensions of human development. That is long and healthy life, being knowledgeable and having a decent standard of living. Okay, HDI is the geometric mean of normalized indices for three dimensions. They are life expectancy at birth, expected years of schooling and mean years of schooling, and the gross national income per capita. This is basically standard of living, and health is there, okay, and education is there. So health, education, standard of living. So how many of the above are considered in the computation of the Human Development Index? So Meton, right? What is the answer? Is saying A. Option A is the correct answer. So it's saying only one. That is life expectancy at birth. Okay. Out of these things, only life expectancy at birth is there. Corruption is not there, and corruption, maternal mortality rate, labor market participation rate, that is not there. Okay. What is there? Life expectancy as birth is there, and education. Okay. Education, expected years of schooling, mean years of schooling is there, and standard of living is there. Gross national income. So out of these things, only one is correct. That is life expectancy at birth. So in the context of National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited, consider the following statements. So let us look at what is NARCL. So National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. The setting up of NARCL was announced in the Union Budget 2021-22. Okay, recently only. The objective was to construct a bad bank which would house bad loans of 500 crores. So because of these NPAs and bad loans, the bank's balance sheet are getting what you say I mean they are depreciating. Okay, their value is reducing. Especially we have seen many big economic offenders recently, like Vijay Mallya, etc. So they take these thousands of crores of loans and disappear from the country, and those becomes NPA, and they reflect badly on the balance sheet of the bank. So they will transfer all these bad loans to a bad bank, okay, asset reconstruction companies, okay. So what they will do is they will take that loan and they will start trying to recover whatever is possible. Okay, trying to sell his houses or business, etc. So instead of 9,000 crore, some 3-4,000 crores may be realized. Okay, something better than nothing. So, but the bank's balance sheet will become better. It will be removed from the bank's balance sheet. Okay, there are already 28 ARCs currently. Okay, 28 asset reconstruction companies are there, and NASL will have a dual structure. It will consist of asset management company and a asset reconstruction company. So two will be there. AMC will be there and the ARC will be there. So collaboration between private and public sector banks. Okay, public sector banks will maintain 51% ownership in NARCL. Okay, so it is private will have less stake and public banks will have ownership share. Okay, it is registered with the Reserve Bank of India as a asset reconstruction company under SURFACE. Okay, this is securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002. So this is called the SURFACE Act. Okay, it's a very important act. In the SURFACE Act, you don't need to go to court. Okay, previously for every small dispute, the bank had to go to court, but now it can start proceedings under SURFACE. because bank means everything will be perfect, right? They have the loans. When you take a loan, you take the document and everything. But if you go to court, lot of money is wasted, lot of time is wasted. So under SARFAESI, instead of going to court, you can start what is the proceedings under SARFAESI. Sell whatever mortgage land or house is there, you can sell it and try to offset the money to the loan amount. Okay, that is SARFAESI Act. NARCL will be capitalized through equity from banks and non-banking financial companies. Okay, okay. In August 2022, NARCL offered to buy the distressed loan accounts of 5 companies, including Future Retail. Okay, so Future Retail is the Big Bazaar and all those things. Even that was facing problems, and NARCL offered to buy the distressed loan. So whatever these distressed loan accounts are there, NARCL will take and try to bring something out of it. Okay, it will try to get some benefit out of instead of being a complete loss. So what is it anyway? So A, okay, A is the answer. That means how many of the above are correct? Only one is correct, which is it would house bad loans of 100 crore and above. It is the first asset reconstruction company where private sector banks hold the majority. So this is wrong, right? Private sector banks don't hold the majority. Okay, public sector banks hold the majority. It will be capitalized only. It will be capitalized through equity from banks and non-banking financial companies. That is true, right? That is true. We have seen where is the money going to come from. It is going to come. It will be capitalized through equity from banks and non-banking financial companies. There is nothing about 100 crore. Okay, it would 500 crore. Objective was to construct a bad bank which was out bad loans of 500 crore and above. Okay, so it is 500 crore and above, not 100 crore and above. So try to remember all these things. 500 crore and above, and public sector bank has more share and capitalized through equity and non-banking financial companies (NBFCs). So only option 3 is correct. Okay. So recently, World Health Organization has recognized NOMA as a neglected tropical disease. Okay, in this context, consider the following statements regarding NOMA. So this is basically more related to SNT, but let us look at that also. What is NOMA? So World Health Organization in December 2023, so recently only added one of the world's most unrecognized health challenges, NOMA, to its official list of neglected tropical diseases. Okay, tropical diseases means India and all will come under tropical only, malaria, dengue, all these things, those which are in the tropical region. Also known as cancrum oris or gangrenous stomatitis, it is severe gangrenous disease of the mouth and face with a mortality rate of approximately 90%. Okay, so it's very dangerous. If anyone gets NOMA, there is a high chance that 9 out of 10 people will die. It's associated with extreme poverty, malnutrition, and poor access to sanitation and oral hygiene. Okay. NOMA mainly affects children aged 2 to 6 years old and is found most commonly among those living in poor communities. It is frequently seen in developing countries, especially sub-Saharan Africa, where it occurs almost exclusively among poor children, usually 3 to 10 years. So it's a very dangerous disease. It's a severe gangrenous disease of liver and pancreas. Now it is of face and mouth. It is associated with extreme poverty, malnutrition, and poor sanitation. So yes, this is true. Okay, one only is the correct one. So consider the following statements regarding the union government's fiscal parameters in last 5 years. So the revenue expenditure has never been more than 10% of GDP. Okay, we are talking about the last five years fiscal parameters. Okay, so this is a very important question. Capital expenditure has never been more than 3% of GDP. Okay, we are targeting 10% of GDP something, right? The non-tax revenue increased continuously. So let us look at it. So these are the standard fiscal parameters. All these are very important. And if you look at it, non-tax revenue is around 1%, okay, 1.1, etc. And revenue expenditure is from 11, it went to 15, etc. And slowly it is now coming back, okay. This was the COVID period, right? So that way the expenditure will increase. Capital expenditure from 1.5, it is up to 2.9. Okay, so try to remember these things. It's very important. Now, as per the recent budget, they are trying to increase capital expenditure to 10%. Okay, it's a good thing. Increasing capital expenditure is a good thing. Decreasing revenue expenditure is a good thing, because revenue expenditure means just paying salaries and interest payments and all those things. Okay, no assets are created. And also, if you look at it, fiscal deficit. Okay, fiscal deficit is very important parameter, and it has to be in control. Okay, it has to reduce, but see, in 2021 it has gone as high as 9.2, which is very as per finance commissions also, it has to be under 4% or 3% something. So fiscal deficit is now at 6.4, which is also not a very good thing. And revenue deficit is 3.8, and many finance commissions also have told revenue deficit try to make it zero. Okay, because if you are not having that money, why are spending that money? Primary deficit is if you remove the interest payments. Okay, from the revenue deficit, if you remove the interest payments, because interest payments are as it is, you're taking, I mean, you're paying back money for which you have taken in the previous year. Okay, the loan which you have taken many years back, you are paying interest now. So if you, in order to get the clear picture of what is happening, you can look at the primary deficit also. Okay, that means 2.8% is the current deficit, because you are removing the interest payments. Interest payment is something which has happened in the past. For something which happened in the past, you are paying money. Okay, so these are the important parameters. So this is fiscal year 23. Okay, fairly recent. Try to remember these things. So tax revenue will always be higher. Okay, tax revenue will be high because we have income tax, corporation tax, all these things, right? So tax revenue will always be higher, and the non-tax revenue, which is in the form of everything is cess. Okay, all these fines, cess, several penalties. Okay, all those things, value added, this thing, everything is non-tax revenue. So total expenditure is also 15.3. Okay, total expenditure 15.3, out of which revenue expenditure is very huge and capital expenditure is quite low. Okay, so which is correct? Capital expenditure has never been more than 3% of GDP. Capital expenditure has never been more than 3. Okay, and revenue expenditure has never been more than 10%. So revenue expenditure is 12.4. Okay, it's almost more or less more than 10%. Okay, revenue to expenditure is more than 10%. Non-tax revenue increased continuously. So non-tax revenue has increased and decreased. Okay, increased and decreased. So it is fluctuating. It is not constant. Okay. So capital expenditure has never been more than 3% of GDP. This is correct. Okay, fine. So we completed till 23. Let's stop here.